So, just having that little bit of extra knowledge really, really helps. I've never seen one brand new. I've seen them loose all the time. The problem is there's usually hair in the tires.
I found a stack of records in my attic today. An Elvis picture disc and Kenny's big old hay. Put them up on eBay for the day was done. Watch the bids roll in till the morning sun.
Welcome everyone to the video. Welcome to the channel. Today's going to be the Tuesday What Sold video. Also have some talking points as well too. Really cool item I found at the bin, so definitely stay tuned. I'll show you right now. And we have some talking points on that, talking points on reselling in general. Nothing new on the AI front, so I won't be talking about anything AI except for what I'm saying right now. Like the video, thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. If you want to continue to see content like this. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday are the what sold. No. Those are the thrifting videos. So I've been doing 2 at the bins Mondays and Fridays, and then a regular Goodwill on Wednesday. So, and then Tuesday, Thursday are the what solds and me talking. Feels like I haven't talked in a while. Feels like I haven't discussed anything about reselling because I'm not doing the podcast style video right now at the moment. We'll see if I continue that in the future. I do have its own channel there, but we'll see how that goes. Either way. Today's Monday, me filming this, and what was great about this today is that I did not have any hospital duty today, which is good. I had the day off, which typically every Monday I put in time at the hospital. I have to do that to maintain my employment, unfortunately. It used to be I would have to work an 8-hour shift every quarter, every 3 months. But they changed the rules on that. So I'm like, So, the reason why I don't have to work this Monday was because they asked me to work tomorrow, which is Tuesday. But they only asked me to work, it's only for 4 hours. So yeah, that'd be fine. They could use my help on a Monday, but they know I only prefer to work 1 day a week. Sometimes they still ask if I can work here, can I work there, can I do this, can I do that? But most of the time, I say I'm not available because I'm doing other stuff. I'm at the bins, I'm at making videos, I'm listing, I'm shipping, all that stuff, everything that's involved with reselling. And that's one good thing about reselling is I have the ability to say no. I could tell them, no, I don't need to. I don't need to, have to be stuck to this rigid schedule, or at least for me, I don't like the being, I know some people like that structure and everything and need that structure. I don't particularly care for that structure. And so I have the ability to say no to them, and I still have to work 1 day a week, and then tomorrow I'll just be helping out, doing what's called the board. It's kind of boring, but can be. It can go pretty fast. It just depends how the day is. Basically, it's just handling issues that come in. They're issues that come in. They're all on the computer. All computer issues. They come in, questions and things, and usually pretty easy stuff. Unless somebody's in air transport, and then it's like, oh my god. People think just send a helicopter. Piece of cake. Just send a helicopter. Easy. Go pick me up. I'm over in Placerville or wherever. Just go send an helicopter. It's not that easy to send a helicopter out there. There's so many moving parts and everything, and then everything can be thrown off because it's a bit of a windy day, and then you can't send a helicopter out. So, hopefully it's a nice calm 4 hours, and that's pretty much it. That's all I have to do, and get that out of the way, and the rest of the time is reselling. So today, I went to the bins. I wasn't going to go to the bins initially. I was like, I'll get some work done around here. List items we found over the weekend and all that, but I was like, I got my shipping done, and I was like, all right, let's go over to the bins. So I went over to the bins just to see how it is on a Monday, because I'm never there on Monday, so I'm like, I don't know what the Monday's like. Let's go take a look. And so I went, and it wasn't from a volume standpoint. It wasn't very good. There wasn't that much. There was a lot of clothes. I'm not really much of a clothing person or a shoe person. And as far as the other stuff, there really wasn't much of it there. And again, this is our first bins location in this city, so still getting used to it, getting used to what what it's going to look like from maybe this is the month where it's just mostly clothes. Maybe next month it'll be mostly home goods and stuff. Who knows? So we're still learning the patterns. But that doesn't mean I didn't find any great items. I still found some great items, and I have one here I'm going to show you. Just enjoying some Jack Daniels. This is the single barrel. I reviewed it many videos ago. I'm still going to do some whiskey reviews. I just haven't picked up any new bottles. Costco's just had the same stuff over and over again, so nothing really new. We should start to see some new releases over at Costco. Hopefully in August, so coming up here pretty soon, August, September, we'll start to see some new stuff there, and going into the end of the year. Otherwise, if I want to find some new stuff, I go over to Total Wine. I could go over to Bevmo, but I don't really like Bevmo. I don't know. I just don't like the building. I don't like the layout, the building. Yeah, and that keeps me away from there. But Total Wine, I like Total Wine. It's just the parking lot that it feels like a trap. It's a tiny little parking lot, and maybe I'll do a video from there, maybe just to show you. I just don't like the weird things that I get hung up on. It's just a tiny little parking lot, and there's Guitar Center right next door, and it's just tight little space, and there's only one way in. I think there's two ways to get in, or I think there's two ways to get in, but only one way to get out. Or there's another way to go out, but you're forced to make a right only. And then you have to go all the way to the opposite end of the shopping center, which has the Bass Pro Shops in it. Which San Jose, in my opinion, we need Bass Pro Shops in San Jose. There's not that much. Yeah, there's lakes and stuff around. Actually, I think they drained Anderson Lake. If you're familiar with the area, I believe they had to drain Anderson Lake. I haven't been out there in a while. I have to go check that out. It was a dam. I think they had to do like retrofitting or something to that effect. Yeah, there are a few lakes here and around. You have to drive pretty far to get to some good lakes. But I'm like, a Bass Pro Shops here in San Jose? To me, it doesn't make any sense. But either way, they put a Bass Pro Shops here. And you have to drive all the way out to the Bass Pro Shops, and it's like navigating all this traffic. There's a bunch of eateries in there. It's always packed. So to get the Total Wine is a bit of a hassle, in my opinion. The older I get, anything involved with driving seems like a hassle. When you're young, you just want to jump on the road. You want to hit the road and just drive. But the older you get, the less and less you like it. For me. But either way, so I went to the bins and found some great items. We'll talk a little bit about reselling too right now, but I want to show you this great item here. And the reason I want to show you, first of all, it's a great item. So Thomas the Train does really well if you find them. Usually you find them loose. You don't usually find them brand new. This is from 2013. So if you find them brand new, it does incredibly well. This one right here, this wooden piece, this wooden railway. This is Connor. Yeah, Connor. So in a pack of two. So this one sold with another one recently for $180. So $180 for a set of two of these. So I priced this one at $85, and we'll see what happens. But what's cool, first of all, I found it at the bins. So I paid, it's not even a pound. So I paid probably about maybe $1.50 for it or so. So we got it at a great price, and it's going to sell for an incredible amount. And people passed this up. I wasn't the first person to see this. It was just sitting there in the bin when I saw it. So things were moved around. It was just sitting there on the bin, just like that. Just like this, face up on the bin. Everybody could see it. I saw it right away. I spotted it right away and grabbed it. And I was like, oh, everyone passed it up. I picked it up. So really, really cool. And look at, the size, easy to picture. It's just piece of cake. There's the front of it right there. But so if you see any of these, pick them up. But what was also interesting too was that this survived. I kept the little tag here that was with it. The cost. I mean the Goodwill tag. So this already had been at a regular Goodwill, and here's the little tag. So we got it for less than that, but at the Goodwill, if you can see that, it says $4.49. $4.49 was how much it cost. So, shoot, if I saw this at Goodwill, I would have picked it up for $4.49. And it was priced on July 16th. So, dang. So this didn't this didn't even last a week. So this is priced on July 16th. And hold on, I thought I was going to sneeze there. I had my allergies are acting up today. Okay, so July 16th is when it was priced. The date of this video, I'm recording this when I picked it up, was on the 21st. So it was only there 5 days, maybe 4 days, because they took it off the shelves, had to get it to the bins. It came from the Goodwill over in Cupertino. So it survived maybe 4 days at Cupertino, and then it was taken over to the bins. So $4.49. So it was out of Goodwill, and it never got, it only had a few days to try to be purchased, and then made its way to the bins, and it was passed up by a few people, and I saw it there and got it. So, just having that little bit of extra knowledge really, really helps. I've never seen one brand new. I've seen them loose all the time. The problem is there's usually hair in the tires, especially with the electronic ones. There's usually hair in there, and it's usually a pain in the butt to clean. Sometimes it's not even worth it. But if you find the wooden ones, a good collection of them at a good deal, I would definitely be picking them up. If you find a brand new, even better. Even better. So first time I've ever seen one brand new in the package. I know to pick them up if I do see them, but this is the first time I've ever found one new in the package. So hopefully it will not be the last. So definitely something to look out for. Okay, I got some other great items too. Oh, I got like an IKEA, or like wall hooks. Just little, like, they're not even fancy or anything like that. But what was interesting is there was no sold comps here in the United States, but overseas there were, and there were two listed here in the U.S. One for $80, one for $129, and they're small. They're little hooks, just two of them, and the package that they're in, they're brand new. It's like this big. Literally, they're super tiny. So I don't know if they're, and the ones for 80 and 100, they have watchers on them too already, which is kind of, I was like, wow, really? So there's obviously some interest in it. I don't know what I'm going to price them at. I got them at the bin, so, the profit's going to be really good. Even if I sell them at $20. So I might try to price them about $60-ish or so, maybe 50 or 60, and see what happens. And yeah, that's gonna be pretty good too. So pretty good day for a Monday. As far as volume, I wasn't filling up a cart or anything like that. I wasn't filling up 2 bags, so it was okay. It was okay. We found some great items, but that was more just stuff I find all the time. It's just stuff I find all the time. I find great items all the time where we're at. You just got to have just I really say my diversity, that 6th sense, and my diversity, my knowledge base is what I know. So, and I hope I help by showing everyone out there all this stuff. That's pretty good. As far as reselling goes, a lot of people talk about summer slowdown, because we're in summer. Summer slowdown, and all that. And a lot of people, obviously, there's the sell-through rate. There's another one I'm hearing about, like style-based sourcing. I heard another term or phrase called, factor stacking and stuff like that. And, I didn't start hearing about this stuff. So I've been involved in reselling online and in person as well, too, for well over 20 years, since the late 90s and on till now, basically. And that reminds me too, big sports scandal as well. I almost forgot to mention that big memorabilia sports scandal. We'll talk about that really quick after this. But a lot of these terms. So I watch YouTube. and I pretty much watch a lot of tech stuff, a lot of reviews and things like that, and movie stuff and everything. I didn't really see any reselling content until the pandemic. I didn't even know it existed, which is why when I discovered it existed, I was like, hey, I should probably make videos too about what I do. So when I discovered it existed, I actually discovered it with I would watch it with my nephew here at my house. Is Matt, Part-Time Pickers. I started seeing him. I'm like, hey, I know. Wait, I was like, I know where that place. I know that place. I know that place. I've seen that guy before, and I was like, oh, so he's from the Bay Area, from our area, from Hayward, California, but or was out of Hayward, California. And I was like, hey, and I started watching it because I was like, hey, he's a local guy. He goes to some of the flea markets I go to, and pretty cool. Watch the local guy. Then I obviously started getting other recommendations from other resellers, and then I started watching him. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I started watching reselling content. And I'm like, hey, I could do this. I can make these videos as well too. This is the same stuff I do. I go to flea markets. I go to Goodwill. I resell items and everything. But then that's when I started hearing about all this terminology. I'm like, what? What are they talking? I've never, prior to me watching reselling content on YouTube, I shouldn't say I've never heard these terms because I've heard them, but as far as applying them to reselling, I've never heard that before. It was all brand new. I'm like, what? Why are they? I was like, why are they talking about summer slowdown? Like when people talk about summer slowdown, they talk about it like it's a blanket over all of reselling or retail or selling anything, basically. Anybody that sells anything during the summer, you're going to be slow, which is just not the case. It's not the case. I'm well aware of summer slowdown in retail, in certain sectors of retail, but not all of retail. And the way they talk about it, I don't know. I have to remember and also let everyone out there know that a lot of people just started reselling over the last few years. So they don't have the experience that a lot of us longtime resellers have. Or selling in general, or e-commerce people, or retail people. And so, summer slowdown, well, yeah, it is a thing. It is not something that just, okay, I'm selling, my business is going to suddenly slow down because of summer. People are still buying clothes. People are still buying all kinds of stuff. They're still buying. There's still consumers out there. It's just habits kind of change. So if you're something like a Burlington Coat factory and you're selling coats all the time, yeah, expect a slowdown in the summer because nobody's buying coats in the summer. Right? You might start to see it toward the end of summer, but during summer, during June, July, May, even April, I would say, you're going to start to experience a slowdown in sales of coats because it's not the season for it. So, but a lot of, Target doesn't really see a slowdown of anything. Walmart doesn't see a slowdown of anything. A lot of businesses are just continue as normal. It's business as usual. But you'll see them adjust what they have out for sale. They'll start to adjust for the seasons. Right now, we're prepping for the holiday. Right now, if you don't have Halloween up, you're done. You're already you're already behind on everything. You need to have Halloween up now. When should you have Halloween up? As soon as you see them doing it at Target. As soon as you see them having it up at Costco. Basically, in my opinion, if you find anything Halloween, Christmas, no matter what time of the year it is, put it up. List it. But reality, just whenever Target has Halloween stuff, start picking up Halloween stuff and start listing it. Whenever you see Costco, they already know when people are going to start buying for the holidays. So as soon as you see them there, you're at a store, you start to see Halloween stuff, you start to see Christmas stuff, start getting it up now. That's when the time is. Just do what a lot of these stores do. It's right there in front of us. Just, all of a sudden you see them, they're not selling coats anymore. I can't find coats. Like Costco. I went over to Costco the other day, and I was like, you know what? I couldn't find my flip-flops. And I was like, man, I need a pair of flip-flops. And so I went over to Costco to hopefully grab a pair of flip-flops, but they were sold out. Why? It's done. They're not buying any more flip-flops. Why are they going to get more flip-flops in? because it's done. The season's over. They've had flip flops since January of this year. They've had flip flops up until I don't know when they sold out officially, but I know they sold out when I went. So I won't expect flip flops to be there until January. So I'm going to go somewhere to find flip flops. So all these stores know how to avoid all these slowdowns. So if you really want to avoid the slowdowns, pay attention to what Target's doing. Pay attention to what Walmart's doing. Pay attention to what Costco's doing. Pay attention to what any retail store is doing. They're adjusting for the season. Why? So they can continue to make money no matter what season it is. No matter if it's summer, no matter if it's fall, winter, you know. So to say that, you know, just a blanket statement that summer slowdown, so expect to be slow. It's just not the case. And it's the first time I ever heard it applied like that is resellers. Resellers on YouTube. Same thing for sell-through rate. Never heard of sell-through rate. You know, well, I mean, I've heard of sell-through rate. I've heard of sell-through rate, but I've never heard it applied to, you know, to reselling, like when you're looking up items or anything. I've never heard that before until YouTube. And then what was the other one? Like factor stacking. I'm like, factor stacking. I've heard of that from two instances. Well, one of them, it's called stacking factor, and that's electrical engineering. If I remember correctly, that's something to do with transformers. And then the other one is factor stacking. I've heard of that in what do you call it? In warehouses. Basically, just a fancy way of saying, let's organize our warehouse stacking things. Basically, just a fancy way to say it. Then style-based sourcing is basically what every single, like, you know, a store that sells clothing does. They actually have teams of stylists. They have an army of stylists. As a matter of fact, they're already preparing for next summer. This summer is already, you know, started, and we're in the middle of it. These companies are already prepping for next year, preparing for next year's styles already. So, you know, they've already have this winter is already prepped and ready to go. I think they already have stuff out for winter already. You know, so they're already, you know, fall is already, you know, that's if you're barely thinking about fall now, you're already behind again too. If you're thinking about Halloween, fall, you're already behind. Like, you just got to follow. The information is all out there. My hat, see? I never know when my hat is correctly on my head when I'm on the camera. So, if you want to study, look here on YouTube, go to retail and see what retail is doing. What is retail doing? What are they putting out right now? What do they have on their shelves? What styles are... I just poked myself. What styles do they have out right now? You know what? You know, they know what's popular, what's gonna be popular, and they're putting this stuff out there to make money. So they know. They pay people pretty well to find these things, to find out these things. And now it's even easier for them because everything's on social media. All you need is a social media account, and there are teams of people go pouring over social media looking to see what are going to be the next hot trends for this coming fall, this coming winter, going into next year already, next spring. They probably already have next spring already in the books already, and they're ready. They've already placed orders and are ready to go for next spring because they got to get ahead of the game. They got to get ahead on ordering. They got to plan this out a year in advance, sometimes more. So. Going off on a rant. So a lot of the stuff that you hear from resellers on YouTube, just remember they've only started over the last few years, and I've noticed a lot of them start to discover, you know, as they start to learn more, they start to course correct, and then they start to change their you know, what they're telling their viewers, and you know what they're preaching and all that. Which is good, you know. Should always be learning. You know, we all got to start somewhere. You know, we all got to start somewhere. It's not necessarily that, you know, that it's some of the information may be incorrect, but it's not necessarily you know, bad, you know, or you know, they correct themselves when they do find out when they start to learn more. So when they start to, you know, find out new things, start to learn more, then they start to correct, you know, what errors they may have been preaching prior. So just something to be aware of, something to always be aware of, that A lot of this stuff is isolated to YouTube resellers who have only been in the game for just a few years, and a lot of these terms are either well known or are not necessarily, uh, they're redefining them, applying them, finding, or maybe they're trying to use these terms that they have learned or know of and are trying to apply them to reselling, and when they've already have a definition, but either way, enough of that rant. But yes, sports memorabilia scandal. Well, I mean, so I've seen my fair share of scandals, and especially sports memorabilia or sports card scandals, since that's where I started in sports cards, sports memorabilia. Me and my friends, that's what we were buying and selling, card shows, online, just locally as well too. So dealing and all that, and I've seen my fair share of people trying to pass fake signatures, fake authentications, fake cards. Seen it. Seen people get busted before, but this is one of the largest now. And I believe the when is the national? Because I think the national, which is the large card show, sports card show or collectible show in the nation, hence national. um, let's see, it's coming up pretty soon. So for this to be coming up, so like coming out right before it, yeah, it comes up on July 30th through August 3rd. So that's next week, I think. So for this scandal to break out right before that event, now we're talking millions and millions of faked things within the sports memorabilia space. And let me just see what the actual number was, because I remember they said 350 $1,000,000. Let me see, $350 million worth of goods. But the actual number, like how many actually are floating out there, is what was it? It was somewhere around, was it 8 million or 4 million? It was 4 million. So sold over 4 million items. There's 4 million pieces out there that are fake or forgeries. And so that's huge. I have not, I've heard like I said, I've heard a lot and seen a lot of forgers go down, them getting busted. But this, at this scale, I have not seen at this scale before, and it is, I mean, that's wild. Now, apparently, some of this stuff has passed through real authentication. So it's been like it's gotten a stamp of approval from real authenticators, like legitimate authenticators, which is wild too. Because now, how do you unwind all that? You can't. You can't. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to unwind, and so many people are going to be having these pieces at their home. And one of the things they pointed out was after the passing of Kobe Bryant, this person started pushing out all kinds of Kobe Bryant stuff out there, and there was also word that other companies like Fanatics, were upset with this person because he would undercut them, and so they would have items for sale. He would undercut them by 20%, 25% or so, and obviously he could because they were fake or forgeries, and driving down the price, driving down the cost, and taking customers away from those who had legitimate items. And apparently they said Fanatics have known about this for a few years, and they have been working with authorities for the last few years. So I don't know if this was, from what I read, there was a Facebook post that what do you call it, admission on Facebook. Like he admitted it on Facebook. Unfortunately, you can look up the story. The unfortunate incident, that occurred. I'm not going to say it. Just I don't want to get flagged on YouTube on what exactly happened to the guy, but he had an admission posted an admission on Facebook, and I don't know if that actually, because they ended up raiding his house and they found him, you know, but they did raid his house. And so, was it the Facebook admission? Was it the fact that there was an investigation already going on? Who was really involved? A lot of these things there's usually a lot of players that are involved in this, and a lot of people with suspicion. And based on my own past and what I've seen in the past, there's always people that you're always suspicious of. You're always like, man, how did they get that stuff? How did they get so much stuff? And you always hear, at these sports shows and everything, watch out for so and so. They had sold this in the past, but no one's gonna come up and tell them like, hey, you're selling fakes or anything like that. But they'll just, they'll quietly warn others to be like, hey, just want to let you know, I had purchased, fakes from this person in the past, or I had purchased items from the past, had it checked out, turned out to be fake, so you may want to be careful. But no one really, no one ever really, I've never seen it, gone out and confronted somebody for being, a forger or anything like that. It really takes a lot of, concrete evidence in order for them to actually just call them out. But based on my experience, that's just based on my experience and what I've seen, at all these sports memorabilia events. Otherwise, if you do have anything out there, there's 4 million. I mean, there's a lot of sports memorabilia out there, but apparently this guy was, a pretty major player, which I remember hearing about his name. I've heard of him back in the day, but just because his name was always reminded me of Super Mario, and not Super Mario the game, but Super Mario the hockey player, Mario Lemieux, and this guy's name is Brett Lemieux, or was, I guess it still is his name. But so it was that always stuck out in my head was the Lemieux, the last name. And so when I saw his name pop up in the article, I'm like, holy cow, I remember that from way back in the day. So be cautious, be careful. You might have a piece that might not be real, and get it checked out if you really want that assurance. Hold on. Okay, sorry, just had to clear my throat really quick. Last sip, just kind of kind of stuck there. But otherwise, let's get to the what sold. Let's move on here. I've been talking too much. Okay. All right, let's get this up here. Let me know if you know what this is. Well, I mean, I think you know what. You see the title, so it doesn't even matter. It's not even. We'll also talk more about economy and stuff like that soon. It's just not like I said a while ago. It's usually just quiet during the summer. Not really much going on. But as far as yeah, there were inflation numbers that came out last week, and it was good. If you want to keep, if you're looking at trying to keep inflation low, the numbers look good. The devil's always in the details, and there are some signs in there. There was some increases in prices, like in toys and other categories, things that you would expect to come from China. So there are some slight increases in different areas, which do raise concern, but unfortunately not enough, I don't think, in my opinion, to raise interest rates. And I definitely think that is the opinion of the Fed, as well as the opinion of the administration. which is why you're hearing a lot of talk about a potential firing of the Fed chair, but because they don't think he's going to raise interest rates with this new data. And so far, the data is not looking like to support it. In my opinion, the data doesn't seem to support a decrease in interest rates right now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's some finer details that could potentially spell trouble for the future, but it's all could, maybe, potentially. nothing really, like I said, concrete yet. So we'll talk more about that in a future video when there's more data. A lot of the stuff, like on, I primarily watch the NBC and other news channels, try to get up to date with what's going on, and it's a lot of fluff. A lot of fluff. And you got to cut through a lot of fluff to get to the main, to get to a lot of people just repeating the same thing over and over again. We could be in a recession. We might be in a recession. There's a recession. We are in a recession. No, wait, there's not a recession yet. There is. They're just repeating the same. And then a lot of people are saying, guidance looks, everything's good right now, but guidance might be, poor in the future, or, just kind of like just corporate jargon. Is that the right word? Jargon. It's fluff, in my opinion, and you gotta be able to slice through it all. And there's too much of it. There's too much of it right now. Okay. So this is watercolor paper. Watercolor paper. Where did I find that? The bins. Everybody passed it up. It was actually in a bin that had already been out there for a while. Arches, I believe is how you pronounce it. But either way, it is watercolor paper. When I picked it up, I was like, wow, this is kind of heavy. And it just had a quality look to it when I looked at the big thing. And I picked it up, looked it up, and sure enough, $45.49 is what it sold for. Went in one of my large padded poly bags. Of course, I wrapped it up with additional bubble wrap before I put it in there and sent it on its way. But really, really cool. $45.49. $7.01 is what they paid in shipping. I know this went to California because the dimensions are pretty, pretty long, pretty wide, but pretty thin though. So I don't think the cost, if I shipped out any further, would have been that much more, just because of the height is very thin. It was less than two inches. But watercolor paper, brand new on the package, obviously had to be brand new on the package, but $45 for watercolor paper. Keep your eye out for stationery. It does really well. Art supplies. Keep your eye out. Make sure it's brand new, though. So that's pretty cool. And again, a bins find. Where's my arrow at? I can't see over this thing. Okay, I'm talking already about getting Halloween stuff out. I already mentioned it. You got to get Halloween stuff up now. So this was posted. I posted this, Halloween. Keep your eye out for Halloween, vintage Target Halloween stuff that maybe was last year or the year before. They don't bring it back. Most of the styles and everything they have from the previous year don't come back for the new year. I've talked about Bath and Body Works, how a lot of their stuff, they already have all their Halloween stuff out right now. So if you want to go get it now. It's already there and it's going to sell out. They have some really cool items, by the way. We were just at Bath and Body Works. So a lot of their styles, a lot of the stuff that they have sell out. They don't bring it back. That's it. It's done. Done for the season. New stuff for next year. So a lot of this stuff people still look for because you can't get it anywhere except where? Hopefully eBay. So keep your eye out for this. This phone, $24.84 is what they paid in shipping. I'm sorry. It's what they paid for the item. The shipping was $9.31. And I actually made some money on this. I think I underestimated the weight of this item. I put it for 2 pounds, but it actually came out to 10 ounces. So a padded poly bag as well too is what this went into. And it went international, means no take backs. So really, really cool. Get your Halloween stuff up now. Get your Christmas up now. Thanksgiving, I picked up a turkey candy dish the other day. One I've sold before in a like a custard brown glass, and I picked up an amber one. So Thanksgiving decor, it usually isn't the best. You usually want Halloween and Christmas. So But nonetheless, Thanksgiving stuff still does sell. I still sell Thanksgiving decor and all that. But Halloween, get it up now and look for these old styles from previous years at Target, Bath and Body Works, Hallmark. Hallmark is okay. I like to stick to the Target and the Bath and Body Works stuff. Okay, this is a power line adapter and sold fast. And by the way, the watercolor paper sold within 24 hours. This the Halloween phone sold within 48 hours. These power adapters sold within 12 hours. I wanted to just make a mention of that because I had a lot of stuff selling very, very fast that I was just listing. So power line adapters, $19.97 what they paid, what they sold for, $7.10 what they paid in shipping. Padded poly bag is what it went into. Now these are the Netgear Powerline 1000 Essentials, and I got this in a box with other ones, but I wanted to show you really quick because these are very, very handy and useful tools if you need a solid internet connection and you don't want to drill into walls, or you can't drill into walls, or you live in an apartment somewhere. So long as you're on a separate circuit. So if you have your own electrical box, then you're on a separate circuit and you can use these. Otherwise, anybody in the building can plug in and then they can have your own internet. So what you need, and I have an example right here because the picture isn't, just shows you the front. So this is what it is. This has antenna. This is a wireless one, but nonetheless, it does the same thing. So this is a power line adapter. So let's say, your router is, I don't know, your living room, okay? And you have a bedroom that's kind of far away, and it gets kind of spotty wireless connection on your computer or on your PS5, maybe your son, your daughter's room. They're gaming, and they keep getting dropped or something like that. You don't want to drill into walls. You don't want to, you live in an apartment or something like that. So, especially in an apartment, because if you have so many routers in the apartment, there's a lot of signal congestion in there. So this could definitely help you out. And what you do is, so it has a plug in the back. You need two, first of all, you need two. And what you're going to do is you're going to plug one of these where your router is, because you need to plug it in right there. There's an Ethernet plug right there on the bottom of this. And so what you're going to do is you're going to plug this in near your router. And you're going to take, one of the extra Ethernet plugs in the back, plug it in to the router, plug it into this, plug it into the wall. It should have some indication lights when it's on, connected, and all that. I think this one does too. Yeah, this has lights up here. These ones all have 3 lights down there. I use a pair of these as well too with here at my own house. But then you would take the second one that you have, and these are all plug and play. There's no configuration or anything you have to do. You have to log into it. Well, this one you do because this one's wireless, but these ones here that are not wireless, you don't have to log into it, configure it at all. Just plug it into the wall next to your router, plug your router into here. Then take the other one that you have, because you got to have 2. Take the other one, plug it in where you want another wired connection. Maybe, like I said, your child has a PlayStation or whatever, or a computer that, the wireless signal isn't the best in that part of the house. So then you plug this in near where their computer's at, and then you plug, I'll plug one end of Ethernet in here, and the other end into their computer, or into their PS5, or their Xbox, or whatever they have. And then you'll have a wired connection. Now, it won't be the fastest in the world. It's not going to be as fast as if you just plug directly into the router, but it will be a good solid connection. Now these, like this one here, the ones that are listed here are rated for 1 gigabit per second. You're not going to get nowhere near 1 gigabit per second. You might get maybe like 300 megabits per second, which is nowhere near 1 gigabit per second. But it'll be a good, solid connection. It uses basically the power lines in your house to create a network. And obviously, the more update your wiring is, the better. You can't use too many of them in your house. You could probably use up to 4 at the most in a modern house. Older house, maybe 2 or 3, you could probably get away with that and not have any issues as far as the connection goes. But the updated the wiring, the better. If you want a good solid connection, pick up a pair. You have to get a pair of power line adapters. They're pretty inexpensive, and you can get some good ones on Amazon and stuff like that for a very good price, or you can buy them from me on, or go look on eBay. There's plenty of them out there. And like I said, plug and play, very very easy. No configurations or anything that you need, or they're not non-wireless ones. You don't need to configure them at all or anything like that. Just plug them in, and you're good to go. So a little bit of networking help for your home if you need it. Where did I leave off? Okay. I gotta keep track of, because I have already prepared for my Thursday video, so I don't want to jump into 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I don't want to jump to the next item because I'm saving that for my next video. Not right now, but I'm just keeping track of. Let's see how many we do. We did 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now 4. These sold incredibly fast. These sold within about 6 hours after I listed them. Vintage Sears amber fog lights, really cool. Now they don't necessarily have or are for a specific car, so they're more just you're gonna have to fabricate drill new holes and all that, put these in and install these. So really really cool. I sold them as a pair, and they sold for $62 even, $15.61 what they paid in shipping. And I found these actually over at Savers, and they were $4.99 a piece, and plus we got 20% off of that as well too. So pretty cool find. I knew they would sell well. I didn't know they would sell that fast. I thought I'd probably hold on to them for a little bit, but I actually listed them for $80. I thought maybe I can get about $80. Someone offered me $62, and I'm like, done. Piece of cake. They're out of here. They're easy to ship too. 8x8x8 boxes, or just one box, I should say. But really, really cool. Definitely keep your eye out for car parts. I don't sell too many car parts, but when I spot ones like this, there's cool ones, unique ones, ones that don't really, the problem with car parts you can run into is car parts that go to specific models of cars. Like, there could be the Toyota Corolla from 2002, but this one only fits the one from 2001. So even though they look exactly the same, there's some different variation, and then someone can order it thinking it goes to their car, and like, oh no, it doesn't fit, so they send it back. So you can kind of end up in those types of situations. Those are the parts I tend to stay away from. I try to look for more parts that can be used in a universal fashion, so that can just be used no matter what car you have, or an add-on for any car potentially. Just like this, you have to install it, drill holes, and you can install it on any car you want if you want to drill a hole into a car, and you know how to wire it up properly. So really, really cool. Sold incredibly fast. Very cool. Vintage, mind you, vintage car parts. And I sold some vintage car mirrors not too long ago as well too, for $50. I did pay up for those quite a bit. I think I paid. I think I want to pay a close like $15 for the pair. I think it was like 8 something for each, if I remember correctly. And I sold them for $50. So I did pay up a little bit for them, but they did sell pretty quickly. But again, keep your eye out for these. They sold fast. Now, I don't think I have to tell you, Spirit jerseys do incredibly well. Disney stuff does incredibly well. But certain styles do better than others. 1, 2. I'm just counting. I already lost track. I think this is going to be the 5th one here, so then I'm going to wrap it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's the 5th one. So this Spirit jersey here, and I have several. Actually, I just sold another Spirit jersey today, and so this one here though did really well, and it did really well because it's in the black and white pattern. It's just a classic black and white. Even though it's size small, It's kind of oversized too. So probably, maybe if you're a size medium, this will still fit you pretty well. But just a classic Disneyland Resort in black and white, a color scheme that goes with everything. And this black and white color scheme sells really well. If I had a larger size, I could probably get more for it. But it sold for $50. They paid $5.91 in shipping. Small poly bags what this went into. But just really cool, just black and white, just a classic black and white, something that goes with everything. And that's one of the, probably why it sold really well, because it's just something that goes with everything. You can wear it with anything. You can match it up with any other color pants, any other accessories you want. The black and white goes with everything. Am I going to say that again? No, I don't think so. So just really cool. Spirit jerseys do incredibly well. Disney stuff does incredibly well. But sometimes there are certain color schemes. Subject matter matters. So really, really cool. $50. Easy. Found this over at Savers too. Brand new with tags, by the way. I found a lot of stuff brand new with tags. And my wife finds a lot of good stuff with brand new with tags. So the other Spirit jersey I sold today it sold for $20. It didn't sell for that much. It was a light blue with bands, like white bands around the arms. Still said Disneyland Resort on the back, but it was blue. Sold for only $20. Same size and everything as this one, but brand new as well too. But it just the color scheme, the color scheme just probably just didn't go with everything. Not like black and white. All right. I think I've done enough talking in this video, and I need water. We got to wrap it up and get it uploaded. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any, let me know what you think of the stuff I picked up. Or I didn't pick up anything in this video, but I sold a lot of stuff. Oh, the Thomas the Train. I'm showing you what I picked up today. Let me know what you think of that one. That video will be out in probably a couple weeks, so picked up some other great items in that video as well too. So that'll be a couple weeks out for that one. But I'll have another thrifting video coming out after this, and then the Friday after this, and then the Monday after that. So keep your eye out on the channel. See you in the next one. Yeah, I lost my mouse. Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.